Good day, everyone. In this video, we will discuss the psychosocial development in late adulthood. So, it is a developmental stage with its own special issues and tasks. It is a time when people are examining their life decisions and how to spend their energy on the remaining days, months, or years of their lives. So, in this stage, nandito ang ego, integrity versus despair na psychosocial crisis ni Erik Erikson. Ito ang eighth and the final stage of psychosocial development. People in this stage either achieve a sense of integrity of the self by accepting the lives they have lived and thus accept death, or yield to despair that their lives cannot be relived. So, ego integrity is the ability to accept the facts of one's life and face death without great fear. So, parang ang kanilang life is na-fulfill na nila and wala silang mga pagsisisi. And yield to despair naman is marami silang what ifs and gusto nilang i-relive ang kanilang life noon and baguhin yung mga dapat baguhin and gawin yung mga dapat gawin pero hindi na nila magawa. Sense of ego integrity is the crowning achievement of late adulthood. So, sense of coherence has been linked to integrity and well-being in later life. People who view their lives as understandable, manageable, and meaningful even with challenges. So, ang sense of coherence is mga older adults na naiintindihan nila na sa pagtanda nila, may mga gawain na sila noon nung may mga hobby sila nung bata pa sila na hindi na nila magawa ngayon kasi nga meron na silang mga health issues na dinadamdam. Death of dreams. It is the realization that some of their most cherished hopes for themselves or their children cannot be accomplished in their lifetime. So, death of dreams is ito yung mga napakong pangarap, kumbaga. So, for example is my grandmother. Ever since she was a child, she dreamt of being a lawyer. But because of financial incapability, hindi niya na-achieve yung dream niya na yun at nagsisi siya sa pagtanda niya kasi nga kung may ginawa lang siya or kung nag-effort lang siya na mag-work or mag-part-time, edi sana na-achieve niya yung dream na yun. Ageism. It is the devaluation it is the devaluation from the social community. So it is the stereotype, prejudice, or discrimination directed at individuals or groups based on their age. So ang mga matatanda is prone talaga sila sa ageism. Introspection, a deliberate process of private, personal reflection and self-evaluation. Reminiscence is the collection of past experiences and the recalling or retelling of memories from long ago. So, for example there is a retired teacher. So, habang nag-reminisce siya sa kanyang pagiging teacher, noon is nagkaroon siya ng self-reflection or self-evaluation na hindi talaga siya naging masaya sa pagiging teacher niya kasi yung profession niya as teacher is gusto ng kanyang parents at hindi niya gusto. Siya mismo is napilitan lang na maging teacher kasi nga yun yung gusto ng parents niya sa kanya and all of her teaching years is naging stressful lang sa kanya ang teaching at hindi siya nakaramdam ng happiness. The prime adaptive ego quality of late adulthood is wisdom. It is the virtue that have developed in late adulthood. It is accepting imperfection in the self without major regrets, without dwelling on might have beens. So, paano nga ba ma-develop ang wisdom in late adulthood? So, ma-develop ang wisdom in late adulthood through living life with no regrets and walang what ifs na nade-develop or napapasok sa utak mo and mga pagsisisi na gusto mong balikan when you are young. So, wisdom is characterized by 5 basic features: the factual knowledge about fundamental life, wherein it is a deep understanding of the basic truths of life, human nature, and the world. Number 2 is the procedural knowledge, or the knowledge of how to solve life's problem and make effective solutions. Lifespan contextualism, or the recognizing that life is influenced by various contexts. Fourth characteristics of wisdom is the relativism of values and life goals. It is accepting that people have diverse values, beliefs, and priorities which may differ based on their upbringing, culture, or experiences. And number 5 is the recognition and management of uncertainty. It is acknowledging that life is unpredictable and outcomes are not always guaranteed. So disdain is the feeling of contempt for ideas or people who are viewed as inferior or unworthy. So disdain is the core pathology of late adulthood. So there is a measuring stability in change. Wisdom is the relativism of values and life goals. It is accepting that people have diverse values, beliefs, and priorities which may differ based on their upbringing, culture, or experiences. And number 5 is the recognition and management of uncertainty. It is acknowledging that life is unpredictable and outcomes are not always guaranteed. So disdain is the feeling of contempt for ideas or people who are viewed as inferior or unworthy. So disdain is the core pathology of late adulthood. So, 5-factor model: personality traits in old age, measuring stability and change in late adulthood. Personal stability follows an inverted U-shaped curve. So, ang personal stability daw ng isang tao ay naka-follow sa inverted U-shape. So, sa adolescence is, ang stability sa adolescence is lowest, and then nag-peak ang personality stability on mid-adulthood and nag-decline sa late adulthood. Continuous change strengthens. Traits like, for example, traits like agreeableness, self-confidence, warmth, emotional stability, and conscientiousness tends to increase in late adulthood, while ang neuroticism, social vitality, and openness to experience is naga-decline naman. So, these factors, so these factors na nag-increase means that older adults often become more reliable, emotionally stable, warm, and agreeable over time. While itong mga factors na naga-decline naman means that older adults became anxious, less socially outgoing, and they are not really open to new experiences as they age. The influence of personality and personality change on health and well-being. Personality is a strong predictor of health and well-being in most respects than social relationships and health. So, for example is sa traits na conscientiousness. So, ang conscientiousness is often linked siya sa healthier lifestyle, while ang neuroticism naman is associated siya as a stress trait. Personality can affect mental health through a variety of mechanisms. So, for example, extroversion can enhance mental well-being through social connectedness, while ang neuroticism naman is maka-increase siya sa vulnerability ng isang tao. Personality traits influence behavior and behavior influences health. So, kung ano yung personality traits mo is na-influence niya yung behavior and vice versa. So, for example is, may high risk personality ka. And that high risk personality mo is nag-lead siya sa behavior na nagkaroon ng negative impact sa iyong health. Like for example is smoking or marami kang vices sa iyong life. And that personality traits affects in older age. So, well-being in late adulthood. Older adults have fewer mental disorders and are happier and more satisfied with life than younger adults. In some, there is a sharp and rapid decline in well-being and life satisfaction approximately 3 to 5 years before death or a terminal job. So, and you will be missing your partner, and that will lead to something serious later on. Coping and mental health. So, coping is a adaptive thoughts and behaviors people use to manage stress caused by harmful, threatening, or challenging situations. So, cognitive appraisal model is how people respond to stressful or challenging situations. So, there are two types of coping appraisal model, which are the primary appraisal and the secondary appraisal. So, primary appraisal is individuals assess the situation and determine if it poses a threat to their well-being. While ang secondary appraisal naman is people evaluate their resources and options for dealing with the situation. So, there are two types of coping strategies, the problem-focused and the emotion-focused. So, the problem-focused coping is addressing the root cause of the stress. So, for example, is if you are stressed about a deadline, you created a schedule para makomplete mo ang tasks mo on time. While ang emotion-focused coping naman is you manage your emotional responses to the stressor. So, there are two types of focused coping, the proactive and the passive. So, sa proactive is confronting or expressing one's emotions or seeking social support. So, an example of proactive is if you are stressed na talaga sa life is nag-talk ka sa iyong friend para mabawasan yung bigat na nararamdaman mo. While ang passive naman is avoidance, denial, suppression of emotions, or acceptance of the situation as it is. So, mas hindi mo iniintindi yung stressors mo, and pinapabayaan mo lang kung ano yung nafe-feel mo on that moment. Coping and mental health. Age differences in choice of coping style. So, nag-base talaga sa age kung paano tayo mag-cope sa mga stressors natin. So, for example, is ang older adults is mas ginagamit nila ang emotion-focused coping kaysa sa mga younger adults na mas more on problem-focused coping. The effect of religion and spirituality on health and well-being. So, older adults daw is when it comes to using religion on health and well-being, mas active sila or mas may sense sa kanila ang religion and spirituality in terms with coping and mental health. Models of successful or optimal aging. So there are three main components of successful aging. Avoidance of disease or disease-related ability. So kapag nga when you go older na, madami na mga sakit na nadadarama sa body. So maintaining a healthy lifestyle is a key. So paano nga ba ma-maintain ang healthy lifestyle? It is through balanced nutrition, exercise, and regular medical check-ups. And also, sa pamamagitan nito, na-reduce yung age-related conditions. Number 2 is maintenance of high physical and cognitive functioning. Engaging in regular physical activity can make you physically fit, and also it helps your mental health to be healthy. And number 3 is sustained active engagement in social and productive activities. So, participating in social clubs, volunteering at a local organization will make you maintain close relationship with family and even the society. But this engagement theory versus activity theory. So, this engagement theory focuses on withdrawal and peace through disengagement. And the activity theory is focuses on maintaining high levels of activity and social engagement. While ang continuity theory is maintaining a balance between continuity and change in one's life. So, sa disengagement theory, ang example nito is kapag matanda na is nag-withdraw na sa society, like hindi na masyadong palalabas, like nasa bahay na lang, nagmumuni-muni. While ang activity theory is stay connected with the society pa rin and mas naging active or active pa rin sila kagaya ng dati. And the continuity theory is the balance between continuity and change. So, the example for this continuity theory is our neighbor, which is a retired politician, where aware na nung nag-retired siya is meron na talaga siya mga health-related issues. And as a girl na very gusto magplant, very gusto ang flowers, is nakahiligan niya na talaga ang magtanim. Pero kasi nga marami na siya mga dinaramdam sa kanyang body, is naiintindihan niya rin ang pagbabago na kailangan niya rin ng assistance kapag nagtatanim siya. Kasi noon wala siyang assistant, like siya lang isa, and nagiging at peace siya kapag nagtatanim, ganun. And ngayon, need niya na talaga ng assistance kasi nga hindi niya na talaga kaya na tumagal mag-isa sa garden niya. The role of productivity. Any action that provides contribution to society is a key to aging well. Whether paid or unpaid, it has positive effects on older adults. So, the role of productivity helps older adults maintains a sense of purpose, value, and identity. It links to greater life satisfaction, mental health, and social integration. So, selective optimization with compensation, enhancing overall cognitive functioning by using stronger abilities to compensate for those that have weakened. So, selective optimization with compensation is how older adults can enhance their overall functioning by selectively focusing on their strengths and using compensatory strategies for areas where they have become weakened due to age-related changes. According to selective optimization with compensation, older adults conserve their resources by selecting fewer and more meaningful activities or goals. They focuses on the skills and activities that they are still able to perform well, rather than trying to maintain or improve areas where they have lost their proficiency. And optimizing. It is making the most of the resources they have to achieve their goals. This is how they make efforts to maximize their remaining strengths by practicing and engaging in activities where they excel, and compensating for losses by using resources in alternative ways to achieve their goals. So, as you grow old, certain abilities weaken, such as physical strength or memory retention. And what older adults do is they find strategies or tools to compensate for their losses. For example, is they use technology para to help them. Practical and social issues related to aging. Whether and when to retire are among the most crucial lifestyle decisions people make as they approach to late adulthood because of some underlying factors such as their financial situation and emotional state. So, some retirees is mas pipili nila na wag muna mag-retire kasi they are not financially capable to sustain their needs without their work supporting them. There are 5 broad categories in determining how well a person adjusts to retirement. Number 1 is individual attributes such as health and financial status. Good health is crucial for enjoying retirement, and having adequate financial resources is essential for maintaining lifestyle preferences during retirement. Kasi nga, some people kapag nag-retire sila, may mga dreams sila na gusto nilang ma-achieve. For example is may retirement plan sila na gusto nila sa farm sila mamuhay or spend yung time na natitira sa kanila. Number 2 is pre-retirement job-related variables such as job stress. The level of stress experienced in one's job before retirement can significantly influence how someone adjusts to retirement. So, for example is, ang individual is stress sa kanya yung work niya is makaka-feel siya ng ginhawa kapag nag-retire siya. While on an individual naman na parang contented siya sa kanyang work or happy siya sa kanyang work is mahihirapan siyang mag-adjust talaga kapag nag-retire na. Number 3 is family-related variables such as marriage, quality, and dependence. So, ang marital relationship is maka-influence talaga siya sa experience of retirement. Retirement translation-related variables such as retirement planning. So, may mga ibang older adults na ginaplanan nila ang kanilang retirement years in advance. So, nag-save na sila and may mga planned activities na sila na kung ano ang gawin nila kapag nag-retire na sila. So, mas makaka-adjust sila sa retirement period nila. While ang number 5 is the post-retirement activities such as bridge employment and volunteer work. So, sa ibang retirees is returning to work part-time or in a less demanding role, or the bridge employment can help them ease the transition from working to not working anymore. So, ayaw naman nila na mabigla ang sarili nila. So, they have the bridge employment wherein pumasok sila sa work na hindi masyadong mabigat kagaya nung work first work nila or nung previous work nila. So, living arrangements in late adulthood. So, aging in place is ito yung mga older adult na mas pinili na doon na spend ang kanilang remaining years sa bahay or sa lugar na kung saan sila lumaki. While ang living alone is they chose to live their life being alone. So, sa mga living alone is ang mga kakilala ko na namumuhay mag-isa na mga matatanda is yung mga walang pamilya na natira na or yung wala talagang pamilya. And third is living with adult children. So, ito yung mga older adult na gustong spend yung remaining years nila kasama yung kanilang mga anak. Like, for example, is magbantay sa kanilang mga apo, ganun, mag-spend time with the family. And the living in institutions. So, sa Amerika is sikat itong living in institutions or kapag matanda na is doon ka na sa home for the aged. So there are alternative housing options. So one of it is assisted living facilities where older adults live in their own home-like space while giving them easy 24 access to needed personal and healthcare services. So, sa assisted living facilities is meron silang own space, meron silang own na parang bahay, while nakakatanggap sila ng services or ng care from other people. Here are the group living arrangements for older adults. The retirement hotel, retirement community, shared housing, eco housing or the elder cottage housing opportunity, the congregate housing, the assisted living facility which was discussed earlier, and the foster care home, and the last one is the continuing care retirement community.